This is an NBC 10 News podcast. Thank you for turning to 10, your news leader. 10 News Conference with Gene Valicenti continues right now.
Welcome back. In studio with me is Adam Greenman. He wants to be the next mayor of Pawtucket. He's a Democrat like Mayor Grebien. Welcome in, Adam.
Thanks so much for having me, Gene.
I didn't know you could swap Mayor Grebien out. He's been there for a long time.
16 years, yeah. I stay around town. My youngest daughter, Nora, is 14 years old.
Okay.
The last time Pawtucket had a new mayor, she wasn't born. And now the hospital where she was born is closed. The baseball team we used to root for is in Worcester, and the Mr. Potato Head statue at Hasbro's headquarters is next.
Oh, you had your points down. 1, 2, 3.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let me count. I'm not here to defend the mayor,
okay.
but let me play the devil's advocate because he's got a record. The soccer stadium came on his watch. And we're going to figure out what to do with the old Apex. There's plans for that. And you're getting new schools. And he's being elected and reelected over and over again.
Yeah.
So the people of Pawtucket seem to like Mayor Grebien.
Well, I would say, when we talk about the soccer stadium, when we talk about the train station.
Well, if I got the train station, that's a big one. Yeah.
When I talk to people from outside of Pawtucket, that's what I hear.
Yeah.
But when I talk to residents of Pawtucket, we're knocking on doors every single day. What we hear is a city that's, they're worried that it's not going to be affordable for them anymore. People who have said to me, they lived here their whole life, they raised their kids here, their kids can't afford to live here. And so things like that are really important. We look at the new school buildings. I hear from people, my kids are in the Pawtucket Public Schools.
Okay.
I hear from parents, these new buildings are great, but if we're not focused on what's happening inside them, we can't actually move the city forward. And so I think that, when I talk to residents, it's a city that looks very different from when I talk with people from outside of Pawtucket.
Okay, you have to give people a real reason to kick out an incumbent, particularly one who's been in there for a long time. And what is the keystone issue? What are you going to say? Listen, he's done this, he's got to go. Do you have that?
It's the whole track record over the last 16 years, Gene. There is you just look at what was there when my wife and I moved here 17 years ago. The GAM Theater, the Paw Sox, Hasbro. Right. You had, at least the Apex was filled with the DMV. And unfortunately, what we've seen over the last 16 years, you talked about the fact that there's plans in development for the Apex site.
Yes.
Those plans have been in development for 15 years.
Fair
we've
enough.
We've seen nothing.
They tore off the top.
Memorial Hospital. The mayor was on a month ago. I know you two were talking about that.
He says there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's coming.
And we've been hearing that for the last 8 years, quite honestly. That hospital is where I held my daughter for the first time. And so for so many Pawtucket residents, seeing the building in that kind of disrepair, seeing a mayor who says, he said on the show, that it's not his responsibility, it's owned by other people. Leadership is about taking responsibility. Leadership is about doing that, and that's what we've been missing in our city.
Let me be fair. I don't think he actually used the word, it's not my responsibility.
No,
he said there are new owners and there are plans, it's going
Right.
to get better. Subsequent to that, we had a story on the news, the neighbors are not happy.
Right.
Whatever's not happening is not happening fast enough.
Right, and
there.
it's dangerous. I was talking with a police officer who shared with me that a couple of guys broke in there last weekend. One of them got third-degree burns. They were trying to cut out pipes and they cut a steam pipe, and so it's dangerous, and the city's been ignoring that danger for too long. And unfortunately, we need somebody who's going to put forward plans, who's going to make sure that it's not just safe, but it's something we can redevelop.
Hasbro happened on his watch. Pawtucket happened on his watch. But is it fair to pin those on the mayor of Pawtucket? He couldn't keep Hasbro here. The guy at Hasbro doesn't even return phone calls to tell us when he's leaving. As the mayor said, I can't even get a hold of this guy. And with regard to the Paw Sox, that was a state issue. That involved governors and Governor Raimondo and then the Speaker of the House. Is it fair?
So let's talk about Hasbro, because I think that it is fair. Because what you have is any one of these things you can say, okay, not his fault, but it's a pattern. And when it comes to Hasbro, in my previous work, both at United Way and at the Jewish Alliance, I got to work with and be mentored by many Hasbro executives, a couple of Hasbro executives. They lamented the fact that there was no real relationship with the city. You can't build a relationship with a CEO when they're already talking about leaving. You need to start building that relationship the minute you become mayor. And so his first call should have been in 2011 when he got elected to Brian Goldner to say, hi, I just got elected mayor of Pawtucket. Can I come over? Can I buy you a cup of coffee? And that didn't happen. And so I think that that's part of the problem. And then when you think about the new one, I heard the mayor talking about,
Yes.
nobody will return the phone calls. I was sharing with you before we got on air that the mayor and I live on two sides of the same street.
Right.
We
You're
live right
neighbors.
near Hasbro's headquarters. He knows where the headquarters is. Go to the headquarters. Go in, say, I'm the mayor of Pawtucket.
Okay.
I'd really like to schedule a meeting with the CEO so we can talk about transition. That's what leadership looks like, and that's what we've been missing from our city.
So you would have gone to that parking lot, find out where he parks his car, and you would have waited for him to come out
I don't
and
know
say,
that I would
I
have,
want to,
I don't know
like
that
a
I would have gone
reporter,
that
so to speak,
far,
you know?
but I think that this is part of the problem. Is the mayor using all of his contacts? Is he using all the people he knows to get that meeting? And I'm not sure he is.
All right, more with Adam Greenman, wants to be the next mayor of Pawtucket, coming up after this break. Welcome back. Another segment with Adam Greenman, who's running for mayor of Pawtucket, wants to take out the longtime mayor, Grebien. Just before we leave Hasbro, you mentioned the previous CEO, not the one there now, Goldner. He was the one who originally wanted to move the company out. All that he wanted to have was Los Angeles, New York, needed a place that's more cosmopolitan, and this second one really wants to go.
Yeah.
We understand, he just doesn't want to stay in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
So how much could the mayor really have made progress with either of those two?
I think when you have a good relationship, you at least get to have the conversation. And I think that there is a real case that we could have made about Pawtucket.
Yep.
The CEO talks all the time about the talents in Boston. Well, the train that we have goes in both directions.
Yeah.
That talent could live in Boston and come down here. We could really think about creative ways to make Hasbro an even bigger part of Pawtucket's identity. And none of those conversations were really happening, and that's because the relationship wasn't there.
And the Paul Sox didn't want to be in Pawtucket. They originally they wanted to go to Providence.
Right.
They just didn't want to be in Pawtucket. How would anybody have saved that?
Yeah, I think that, again, that's one where it's not so much the relationship with the Paw Sox themselves, because that ownership group was, after Providence didn't happen, was committed to Pawtucket.
They were trying to get the governor and the then speaker to see things their way. They didn't get it.
And I think that that's where, the mayor really had an opportunity, if he had stronger relationships with the governor, stronger relationships with the speaker, could have moved the needle on that.
Okay, so you're going to make the case that, listen, not enough has been done and been there too long, and for all the reasons that you just outlined.
Yeah.
Yet things are happening at Pawtucket. The train station's there. That's a big deal. Properties all around the train station shot up in value. You mentioned affordability.
Yep.
There's another side of the affordability story, and that is your home and his home, and all those triple-deckers and other sections of the city have shot up in value.
They have.
Wealth creation. Isn't that a good thing?
Well, I think that you could argue that it's a good thing, but homes aren't just for generating wealth. They're places for people to live. And if I were trying to buy my house today, I wouldn't be able to afford my house today, Gene. So Pawtucket, which is a place that has for generations been a place where everybody can afford to live, firefighters, police officers, teachers, that's not what we are anymore, and that's what the real problem is. And there's a lot of things that we can be doing on a municipal level, ordinance changes that we can be making that can make it more affordable. Certainly we need to build more, and I'm glad that the city is starting that process, but I was on the City Planning Commission for a little while. It takes way too long to get those shovels in the ground, and there's a lot we can be doing to speed up that process. But we also need to be thinking about how we can change other ordinances to, enforce codes and things like that.
All right, fair enough. Let's talk about what you would do.
Absolutely.
Now. Enough about the mayor's record. Let's talk about what you would do. The downtown.
Yep.
Got to tell you, boy, it's just not good.
Yeah.
I drive through it on occasion. I loop around. In fact, figure out your way in and out of that place.
Yeah, you
loop
do.
around and empty stores. Depressing. It's been like that for years. What's the plan?
Yeah, so I think that we build from within. We have incredible restaurants all across the city. I grew up in a small business. My parents owned a deli when I was growing up. We have people that are invested in Pawtucket, all over Pawtucket. We should go to those folks and say, what would it take for you to open up a second location downtown? How can the city help you do that? And then I think the other thing I want to be doing is talking to places like CCRI. We have a lot of people in Pawtucket who should be getting post-secondary education, but can't get on the bus to get there. let's open up a CCRI location in downtown Pawtucket. That'll drive people to downtown. It creates the critical mass of people there so that businesses suddenly can be more successful. What we're missing right now is an anchor, and those are the kinds of things we should be thinking about.
And what about that old Apex building? You got a vision for that?
I think that could be the kind of place where you could do that. The city owns it, so here's one of the things that I love. The city owns it. It's actually the building itself is in pretty good shape. Got to get tiles back on there, but it's in good shape. We should be going to startups in Boston and saying, move to Pawtucket.
Right.
We'll give you space, free or very low cost, to be in that space. And the only thing we're asking you to commit to, when your business grows, you're going to grow and stay right here in Pawtucket.
Okay, I only have less than a minute left. The school's going in the right direction?
No, going in the wrong direction.
Well, that would be, you're building new schools.
We're building new schools.
Construction's going in the right direction. Academics inside, not so much.
And I'm a former teacher. My kids go to those schools. Those schools are good for my kids, but I want them to be good for every kid. I think my experience in education is something that can help us move that forward.
Train station, that's been a boost.
It's been a boost, absolutely. But we need that train station to not just bring people to Boston. We needed to bring people from Boston and from other places to Pawtucket.
You're going to get a new city hall. You support the plans?
We
have to figure out what to do with the tower.
We need to do something with it, and I haven't seen a plan yet that it seems fiscally viable.
Okay, you were with the Jewish Alliance of Greater Rhode Island. That's where people may recognize you. When I have you on the radio, we'll talk a little bit about your background and why you want to get into politics. In the meantime, good luck.
Thank you so much, Gene. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Adam Greenman wants to be the next mayor of Pawtucket. That's 10 News Conference, your #1 longest running political show in Southern New England. Have a great rest of your week.